Hey guys, we are back with another video. Let's talk Sonic Prime. I've already done a review of episode 1, but now we're going to do a review of the entire first season. Some people have commented that the episodes are kind of split up in a weird way, and it's likely because Netflix will just release this series in chunks, random chunks of like 8 episodes or so. That's why it kind of just ends all of a sudden, you know? They don't really end the first season off very well. It sort of just like ends out of nowhere with like the pirate episode, which is weird. Anyway, I'm here to talk about what I liked about the series, what I disliked, and maybe some things that they could improve on a little bit. So for me personally, I found that this show felt a little bit bland. Like Sonic gets transported to this city where Eggman took over, but the city is pretty generic. Like nothing really stands out at all in this city. It's just dark and gritty and kind of what you would expect the city to look like if Eggman did take over, but I feel like they could have played around a little bit more with the design of this city, and they could have made it something, you know, eye-catching or special, but everything just looks the same and it's not appealing to look at all. And at first, when going through the show, it seems like, okay, Sonic's in Eggman's little city, but then he's going from dimension or multiverse to multiverse, and he's going to like the jungle universe or the pirate universe, and you'd think that's kind of just it, like he just jumps between all these different multiverses until he gets back home. The one interesting thing is that he always ends up back in New York City, which I thought was interesting because at least the show has some connective tissue between the episodes, you know, like it kind of gives the series like an actual flow and story to it instead of just having him like jump to these random different worlds just for the sake of it, just for the sake of going, oh, now he's in the pirate world and we can make pirate Sonic toys, yeah! That's something I didn't really like about this show, is that it felt very formulaic. Like, okay, now he's in the jungle universe. Let's just have him do a whole story about trying to, you know, help out his friends in this jungle universe. Oh, now he's in the pirate universe. Let's have him try to help out in the pirate universe. It's like, come on, like it just felt like the same thing being repeated over and over again after a while. They just kept following the same formula, you know, the same structure. But what I liked, like I said, was the connective tissue between New York City and these other dimensions. And then at the end, how Rusty Rose made her way into the pirate world. That is where things got interesting, I found. But for me, within those 8 episodes, that was one of the few interesting moments I found, so that's not great, all things considered, you know? Another thing that I found to be pretty interesting was Shadow. Whenever Shadow would pop into the show, that's where things got really interesting because he was the character that's, you know, looking at all of this from the outside and he's seeing like, Sonic, you're fucking everything up, Sonic. I gotta fix this, you know, I gotta figure out a way to stop this from happening. Or at least that's what it seems so far. It's kind of left to be interpreted. You don't know what Shadow's gonna do going forward. He might like fuck everyone over, or I don't know. It seemed like Sonic was like the wacky one who's just like messing around, and Shadow was the serious one going, hey, we gotta get this shit together, you know? I liked that they kind of gave him that spin because, you know, he was there with a purpose. Like, the rest of the characters, they weren't really there with a purpose. Like, Sonic's friends, you just see them in all these different forms, but they're kind of just there along for the ride, you know? And Sonic is just a wacky main character, but Shadow is the one who's there with a purpose, and he's trying to fix everything. I mean, Sonic's trying to fix everything too, but he's also fucking around and just eating chili dogs and doing whatever. So personally, I was really rooting for Shadow in this show. Usually Shadow's just the edgy, whiny, emo guy, you know? But they really gave him some character in this show, which I really liked. Eggman and his little like legion of other Eggmen, I forget what they were called, the Council of Eggmen or whatever. I didn't really care for that. I feel like they copied that from Rick and Morty. Maybe Rick and Morty got it from somewhere else, I don't know, but that's where I remember the Council of Ricks from, and this is just the Council of Eggmen. So it's like, it feels very like copy and paste, like they just took it from Rick and Morty and went, oh, let's do this with Eggman too. As I said in my episode 1 review, I thought that the voice acting was fine, honestly. It does sound like the voice actors are doing like an impression of what the characters should sound like, which comes off a little fake sometimes, I find. But I'm not gonna harp on it too much. It didn't like take me out of the show that much. And, you know, they did a fine job, so I'm going to give a pass to that. As I also said in the episode 1 review, the animation looks beautiful. They did a really, really good job with that, so shout out to the animators because they did some really nice work here. Going forward, I really hope that every episode hooks you in like that last one did, with Ruby Rose coming into the pirate world or Shadow jumping into the mix. Things like that really kept the show exciting for me, and other than that, it felt very bland and formulaic, which I didn't like. So if I was them, I would try to maybe do away with some of those things that made the show feel formulaic and highlight those exciting changes that happened, you know? Maybe give us a few more of those per episode so that you're really gripped to the screen and you want to see what happens next, because the show just kind of dragged on for me, I found. Compared to some of the other Sonic TV shows, I would say that Sonic Boom is miles ahead of this. I would even say that Sonic X is better than this, and Sonic X had a pretty bad English dub with very cheesy dialogue, but just as a whole, that series was much better than this too, I find. Which, this series is alright so far, Sonic Prime. Some people are saying this is the best Sonic show ever, which, shout out to them for enjoying it. I mean, I'm glad that people are liking it, but for me, it really just wasn't that, you know? There was such excitement around this show when we were first seeing the trailers and screenshots, and the release date was announced, and then it came out a little bit early on Sonic Speed Simulator, and everyone loved it, but I was, as you guys saw in that episode 1 review, I was a little bit unsure, and I thought it was a little bit mediocre the first episode. It picked up a little bit as the episodes went on, but as I've kind of said, you only get little bits of excitement, which is not enough to keep me hooked, you know? For me, I find it's just a shame because they could have really done a lot with this show. I mean, they have the concept of multiverses. They could have literally done anything. They could have taken Sonic to all of these different worlds and done anything. They had so many possibilities at their fingertips, but they chose to kind of go the generic route, I feel, and that's a little disappointing. Anyway, here's hoping for the best. I hope that the show gets better as the seasons go on. It's not awful or anything, but if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably rate it like a 6. It's good, but it's not anything to write home about or anything, you know? Like, for me, it just barely passed the mark of being a good show. And a lot of that is just because the animation looks gorgeous, the voice actors did a decent job. It's exciting during some moments. Unfortunately, the rest of the show feels pretty bland, so. Anyway, maybe let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Did you really enjoy this show, or did you think it was a little lacking? I really, really wanted to love this show, and I just found that it ended up being a little lacking for me. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and comment down below, and subscribe to your boy. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers right now, so if you could maybe share this video and subscribe, it would really, really mean a lot to me. We're getting there pretty quickly, so I'm excited to finally reach that mark. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.